Nice.
Yeah.
Should we shift it over a little bit? I feel like Jordan's like cut off.
Who's less important? Please.
All right. So, topic for today.
We were playing Pokemon Go today, weren't we?
Yeah.
And I can't believe how much it's taken by storm, the community.
Right. Here's something that I was thinking about
Uh-huh.
that I think is kind of hilarious. Is you have like two different kinds of reactions on Facebook. You have the people who are like, "Oh, these Pokemon people are a bunch of nerds."
Yeah, haters.
And you have the people who are just like, "Pokemon is so great. It's bringing some people together." I think it's hilarious how all of these random people who usually would not associate with each other at all are like have come together because of this stupid app. And all these people who like think that like video games are like stupid and like shouldn't be taken seriously are like the same people who like think that like, you know, politics and like religion is important, but those two things haven't done a lot to unite mankind.
Not recently.
And I think it's hilarious how a little app is doing so much to like bring people together and like have people meet who like never would bother communicating.
I actually played a game with my wife. We had a news feed, and I counted how many racist / shooting posts there were versus how many Pokemon Go posts there were, and it was a ratio of 18 Pokemon Go versus 7 shooting.
How crazy is that?
A lot.
Crazy.
And
is
so
that?
it's getting people to focus on happier things.
Yeah, that's I was going to bring that up. I think it's beautiful because it's focusing on like, yeah, we need to focus on like the problems that are going on, but if you spend all your time focusing on the negative things, everyone's negative, and you have to bring beautiful things in your life, and it's as simple as, I mean, it's a little phone game that we play, but people love it. And it makes people get out and do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Like, what has been the biggest complaint about video games ever since their inception? You just sit inside all day and you're lazy.
That's exactly right.
They fixed that. You have to walk outside. You could drive your car, which I guess we did a little bit, but we walked too. Easily reached the steps, my step counter steps today because of that game.
Oh yeah.
Like
Pokemon
it's only bringing positive things. I mean, it's hilarious.
And they reward you for going to special sites like art museums.
I love that. I love that.
Centers,
it rewards you for
hiking
going to
trails.
good places. You know,
Yeah.
even I mean, the Pokestops are churches. You know, there's churches all over the place, so people are just walking there. You know, getting more spirituality out of their day just by walking by a church. Like I find it fantastic.
Yeah.
It's silly. I mean, whoever, I don't know. I should probably know the designers of this game, but whoever did, they got some geniuses on their hands.
Once they can work out making it so the battery can last a little longer playing the game.
Battery tech's going up, dude. Battery's going to be crazy in 10 years. It doesn't even matter.
Right.
Batteries are so nuts now. That was like the biggest holdback to our technology too. Is like we don't have a portable source of power,
Battery
so we
life.
have to focus on those for a while.
Exactly.
That's why we love Tesla. Love Tesla.
Right.
Tesla's the shit.
We love Tesla?
We love Tesla.
Oh, I didn't know we loved Tesla.
Everyone loves Tesla.
Especially that guy who watched Harry Potter and got killed because of it.
Wait, what?
There was a news article that said he was watching Harry Potter and they had the car on autopilot, and a semi-truck.
Got sideswiped by the semi-truck.
No, he sideswiped the semi-truck, but he went under the bed.
Done.
Decapitation.
Done.
I don't know if he got decapitated, but that's
Done.
what
Yeah, he was using that auto driver on the Teslas.
However,
Cars.
Tesla drivers are saying that article has to be false because when you're driving, they disable the DVD functionality. Like, so you can't actually watch.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, that's a good point. Good point. You just solved all of their.
Yeah, are they serious
Their
right now?
arguments
Everyone's got a
immediately.
phone you could watch stuff on. You know, come on. Of course you could have been watching TV. And people, are you serious?
Wow, so you just shut down every Tesla man's argument. Just
They're
one
dumb.
sentence.
They're
You just-
dumb. No,
so
this is the
so
argument.
Tesla drivers are dumb. Okay, got it.
No, but if you use that as an argument, you're dumb. I love Teslas. I think they're fantastic cars. No, the funniest thing is, dude, is Tesla says don't take your hands off the wheel when you activate this, driverless mode. Keep your hands on the wheel. Stay attentive. You should. Don't. It's not a free excuse to text. Like, people can still run into you, and your car's not going to avoid that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
if I decide I want to hit your car, there's nothing your remote control car is going to be able to do to make me stop. Like,
Well, here's
You've gotta be driving
theory
it.
is the robots, like in theory, the robot will never make the mistake. However, it can't adjust for the variables of all the human mistakes.
exactly, it
that
can't.
will run into.
It can't watch the guy texting in the car next to me decide I need to move over a lane. So
Or
I'm
playing
safe.
Pokemon
They
Go,
can't do that.
trying to stop at the Pokestop while driving, swerving into you.
I mean, but that's just kind of the problem with technology in general is that like, as soon as people begin to think that it can replace the human element in things, it's a problem because technology ultimately is a tool.
Yes.
Like it's something that people have to use. Like this book I'm reading, it's a book about prediction, and they talk about like the weather service and how much like just being able to see the charts and make adjustments. The machines can't do that.
No.
The machines don't have like the ability to look at something and recognize patterns like humans do. And so humans have to continually work with those machines to make sure that those predictions stay accurate.
Yeah.
Like it's a tool. It helps us. You know, they can do incredible calculations. Yeah, that we can't do like in our heads. But like at the end of the day, like it's a tool. Like the machines supplement what we are trying to do. And so like as soon as you try to take the human element out of things and just have machines do it, you have all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to tell people. A lot of people are scared that the machine mindset, more robots, they're going to take over our jobs. But that's just not the case. The more technology, it just means more people need to be monitoring and.
Well, yeah,
taking care
and
of it.
jobs will change. You know, it's, you know, we used to have there used to be jobs of blacksmiths. There used to be jobs of, you know, people who made cartwheels. There used to be jobs for people that, like, you know, sold horses as main transportation. All those jobs went away because technology advanced. So people get scared of jobs going away. Well, some jobs need to go away because we're going to advance technology and stop using those things. We don't use blimps anymore. All those jobs are gone. Like, are you kidding me? Of course, jobs are going to go away when technology advances.
One Hindenburg caused that whhole fad to just go away.
And, they were never cool. Come on.
Right.
Why would you want to go slow in the air?
Now that I think about it, wasn't the Titanic one of the first massive, like, human population cruise liners, like cruise?
Yeah, it was one of the. I don't know if it was the biggest. I mean, I think it's this whole thing. It was
This
like
whole
one of the big. I don't
christening
know.
thing isn't working out very well.
Oh, yeah. Christenings are bad. The Hindenburg. We shouldn't christen things anymore. They tend to go bad. So, Jordan, you were recently in Europe.
Yes.
How was that?
It's a lot different than here.
Yeah.
The two main differences are it's a lot smellier. A lot smellier.
Well, we are in. I mean, there are definitely parts of America that are very smelly.
There are, but the sheer amount of smell harnessed in one small space. Okay, so
That's
and also
fantastic.
no toilets anywhere.
And he was telling me about that. That's mind-boggling to me. The fact that I couldn't walk into a grocery store and go to the bathroom.
No, you couldn't. There's no grocery stores.
So like, what
Well,
happens
for
when
the
I need to
countries I
poop?
went to. So I went mainly into Scandinavia. There's no real chains there besides Burger King and McDonald's. Those are the only chains.
Okay.
And the Burger King and McDonald's I went to near where I was staying
I
had
hate
no
you.
bathroom.
I hate you for going to Burger King in another country.
However,
By the way, I hate you for
I
that.
need to let you know something. Their food there makes our food look retarded. They're on another level.
No, come on.
Their Coca-Cola, I can't drink Coke here anymore. They've ruined food
See,
for me.
that I agree with because, you know, in Mexico I love the Coke there. I prefer Mexican Coke. It just tastes better. But, come on.
No.
European food's just not better.
When they do the American equivalents, like the McDonald's there,
Oh.
their burgers, I can't go back.
Huh.
Why can't we just stop using high fructose corn syrup, whatever the hell other preservatives they're adding in there, and just do whatever the Europeans are doing? Also, here's the thing.
It's
This is the
more
biggest
expensive.
This is the biggest thing about it that I noticed. I have severe heartburn, right?
Uh-huh.
Everything I eat, I have to take medication for
Yeah.
it. I go there and I eat all the burgers, I eat all the sausages, I eat everything I can that would cause heartburn. Didn't have heartburn for the whole
Really?
2 weeks I was there.
Weird.
Not even a hint of it. And I have one meal when I come back, I flew into Las Vegas. I have one slice of pizza, brutal heartburn immediately. So we're doing something to our food that sucks.
That's interesting.
There, that's all I have to say about it.
I've been doing I eat keto now.
You keto?
Yeah, so I don't eat a lot of bread. I'm
Yeah.
not scared of gluten. I think you're funny if you are, unless you have celiac disease, then that's a real thing.
I don't like bread anyway.
Yeah, and that's bread's just not that good for you guys.
Right.
It's just not. It's a great food because we needed it. For hunter-gatherers, it was fantastic. It gave you lots of easy carbs to energize you, and that was fantastic. Bread you can travel with it, so it's always been useful. But it should never be a staple of your diet. It's not a, when we're told the bottom of the the food pyramid, I could have 78 grains a day. That's a lie.
So what should
That's
be
a
the bottom
bloat.
of the pyramid?
Vegetables, 100%. You should eat more vegetables than anything else every single day.
I need to work on that.
Yeah,
I ate a ton of fruit.
Fruit's great
I
for you,
love-
but then
I
that's
love
a lot of sugar. That's a lot, which
Yeah.
which ends up turning
Are
into
they
fat.
simple or complex sugars? Do you happen to know?
Sugar is sugar, dude. It doesn't
Sugar,
matter.
it doesn't?
No, it doesn't. Sugar doesn't.
You would know more than me because you're much stronger than I am. Therefore, you can handle your body better than I can.
I guess that makes sense. This guy knows his better body than his
Oh, jeez.
his body.
you're
But
stacked,
look at
man.
him.
Yeah.
Look at this. Hey, I get to touch you.
It's just ticklish.
He is ticklish. We know
Yeah,
that.
ticklish. But speaking of Europe, though,
Yeah.
is it true that my buddy went over there recently, and maybe this is him growing up in Utah and going to Europe, but he kind of described their culture as people just kind of do their own thing, and everybody's okay with that.
Yeah. Like when I was in Paris, and probably 50% of the population was black. Were black people, and it was fine. No one cared.
No one was shooting each other.
It was fine.
There was.
We had white people and a lot of Middle Eastern people lately, and black people everywhere, and it was fine. I don't understand.
Well, I find that, but in America, it's most of the time it's the same way. I don't find that people care what I'm doing most of the time. I don't care what other people are doing most of the time. Online, people care, but in reality, in the day-to-day on the street where you're walking, people don't give a fuck what you do. I could walk around in a dress and high heels, and yet people are going to look at me, but no one's going to say shit.
So here's my thing, right? Is I had a discussion with a girl about this the other day, and we were kind of discussing, and I think it was a comedian that brought this up, but and so this is why I asked about the whole European culture thing, because I'm curious if this is just an American thing, but he felt in America, if you choose one thing, or if you want to stand for one thing, you suddenly have to oppose this. Like for example, we had this huge thing in the news recently. Everybody's talking about the whole Blue Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And he was but don't all lives matter? How come if you support one thing, you have to be against the other?
Yeah. Well, we're very tribal in America. We're very much, and humans are in general, but we haven't lost that as much as other countries have, as we like to be in groups of people that support our decisions, and we will stupidly follow those groups even if we know they're wrong, because we feel like we should. But Democrats and Republicans they're both terrible. They're both ridiculously corrupt in every single way by the same people. It's hilarious, but people still talk shit on each other for being Republican and Democrat, and they're they don't see that it's all bullshit.
The biggest
we
problem
love-
is they don't differentiate the fact that it's like anything bad that's happened is because of you guys, and anything good that's happened is because of us. And it doesn't matter
It's
which one you are.
ridiculous.
It's interchangeable.
It's funny because so kind of a smaller example of this, but we see a lot with kind of this tribalism. So there's this girl that me and my friend were talking to today, and her mom wouldn't let her watch Disney movies in which characters died. but they're very.
I've met people like that.
But they're very.
Can't, man.
They're a very religious family. So
Yes.
obviously,
man.
the scriptures, the Holy Writ, as I pointed out, is full of people,
death
people getting
and
killed,
murder
people getting raped,
and
like
incest.
It also has
Incest.
dethroning
Yeah.
and hierarchy change.
It's-
it's
yeah.
crazy.
And so I'm like, how is it that you can support this, and like be against like.
But you can't watch Mufasa die.
Right, and they don't even like show anything gruesome. It's not like
No.
there's like blood that's coming out of his mouth, like when he's like lying there. You know
No.
what I mean? And it's interesting to me that there's kind of this mentality of tribalism where it's like it's okay when we do it, but it's not okay when they do
I
it.
love that.
And it's
The cognitive dissonance, I believe, is what it's called.
Mhm.
and the hypocrisy of it is hilarious. And if you talk about it, everybody will be like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But all the time. Like you'll notice people saying things or finding fault with things where you're like, wait a minute, like, but you do the exact same thing.
Yeah, people.
And-
If you're going to argue, I think this is very important. If you're going to argue, you must be ridiculously self-introspective, because if not, you're going to end up, you flip-flop all the time. You have to be very, very clear and very honest with like your own beliefs and who you are and what you do if you're going to be strong and passionate and
You
argue.
need to be self-aware.
Yes,
Jeez.
because if you're capable of saying one thing and then turning around and saying something completely different to someone else, then you're not an honest person. You're a bad person in that degree, in that regard. You're not an honest. You're a hypocrite. And there are so many people who are hypocritical. There's this guy that I love to listen to, Dave Rubin. He's a huge podcaster, YouTuber. Well, not huge, but he's fairly big. And one of his favorite things to say is two things can be true at the same time. Black lives do matter. Cops matter too. Those can both be true at the same time. We should support our cops, but we should also look at the problem of, hey, there is some mistreatment towards black people, because it's very real. There is. And that both of those things are true at the same time. And why can't people see that? It doesn't have to be one way. It doesn't have to be, the
Very
black people.
polarized.
Well, it's because, they are criminals, and it's because they like to smoke weed, and they like to drink, and they have gangs, and they glorify this. Well, it's all their fault. No. Well, they're in that situation. There's two sides to every argument, and two sides carry truth. And we have this idea that only one side of something can be true.
And I think that's the problem, is that, like, we should be able to look at good anywhere and recognize it as good. And recognize that, like, I truly believe it's the nature of good to converge upon an objective truth. That, like, by taking good things from everywhere, we can bring them together and kind of come to, like, a consensus and a better understanding of, like, what the truth is.
Yeah.
Even like, you don't have to believe in God to believe there's such thing as an objective truth.
No.
Like a lot of like scientific studies kind of like think after this kind of same idea. A lot of especially in like the science of prediction, making a prediction about something. There's some objective truth that you're trying to reach, and a lot of times by aggregating good things, by aggregating good information, you reach that conclusion. And so I guess the problem I have with kind of this hypocrisy and this like fault finding is that, like, by being obsessed with what I believe is good, and the fact that makes someone else's good evil, like, I'm overlooking all these things that if we could bring them together, we could converge upon solutions to a lot of the problems that we perpetuate.
Life doesn't
Our
have to be
biases.
so black and white.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be so polarizing.
yeah. And it's interesting to me, just like the beautiful things I've discovered by like having discussions with people who disagree with me. Like I believe in God, but one of my best friends is an atheist, and I love having conversations with him.
Yeah.
Because we learn incredible things when we talk together. When we have these conversations and we kind of like discuss where we're coming from and our differing views, and like it's really deepened my understanding of just like who we are as humans to kind of have these discussions and to see these opposing views and see the good that can come from both of them. But
Especially when it's civil.
It
You
has
take
this-
your emotions out of it and
Yeah.
you just talk.
Yeah.
You don't have to hate each other at the end of the conversation. Just talk.
And you'll find that if you have a real conversation, you push your pride aside, you put, whatever your assumptions aside, your previous assumptions, you put it all aside, you're going to like whoever you have that long conversation with.
Most definitely.
I've never had a 45-minute conversation and walked away and been like, fuck that guy. Never, because I understood why he believed what he had. I understood his situation. Well, not understood everything in 40 minutes, of course, but you understand, he was raised in this environment, he told me about this makes sense, so that's why he's doing that. Everyone's got a reason for what they do. And the world and everyone
likes to hate on behavior. We like to hate on what people are doing. That's not important. It's why you are doing what you are doing. What is the root cause? Why are you acting that way? It's not if you really want to help a kid when he's crying and screaming, you don't go up to the kid and scream at them for yelling and screaming and crying. You go and you say, "What's wrong? What happened? What can I do?" Because you want to find the root of the problem. You don't get mad at the behavior. And yet, when we stop being children, we think, "Oh, it's okay. We can get mad at people's behavior now." That's not how it works. Yes, people make mistakes. People do bad things, and that's very different. When you commit a crime, when you kill someone, when you hurt someone, when you rob, when you steal, that's different. You're affecting other people. But if you're just acting like a jackass, the best thing to do if someone's acting like a jackass is not go and call that person a jackass and say, "Hey, what's going on? Are you having a rough day?" And if they don't want to talk to you, fine, walk away. But don't attack behavior, and that's, I have a pretty good view of that because I worked in a treatment center and I learned that, I was a youth counselor, and so I learned that very real, that if you try to just correct behavior, you will fail and get very, very, very frustrated because it doesn't, getting mad at behavior doesn't change anything.
That's interesting because I read a study the other day where apparently there's some judge out somewhere who's been taking convicts. So you talked about people commit crimes and whatnot, and kind of they have to write an essay at some point during the legal process.
I like that.
Basically about where they see themselves in 5 years, and they'll sit down with these people and be like, well, is that about getting a college education, or do you have certain talents that you're good at that you could develop and become a contributing member of society? And a lot of these people kind of when you stop them, and just have them think about their lives and what they're doing and why they're doing what they're doing. They're like, you know what, I don't really need to be resorting to crime.
It's crazy how just having that conversation with people will completely change because they've never. It sounds nuts, but a lot of criminals have never thought maybe I don't have to be a criminal because all of their friends are criminals. They've always been around criminals. How have they always provided for themselves? Well, they've always stolen. They've always done this. That is that's their pattern, and they don't think outside of their pattern. And to help someone, you've got to help break their pattern. You've got to break that thought process. You've got to break that consistent cycle that they're rolling on and insert something new. And that's what you do when you talk to someone. Hey, what do you want to do in 5 years? When you say that to someone who's never thought about their future, I promise you they're going to start thinking about their future right then. And that's probably never going to stop. Once you bring it up one time, it gets in there and digs into you, and that's all you want to think about.
Right. And it's interesting, to see, even in my own life, there are times where I kind of, was just kind of doing my thing, and someone would just, ask me, have you thought about this? What if you did this with your life?
Yeah.
And they kind of got a ball rolling. I remember, probably 6-7 years ago, I kind of had a period in my life where I was just kind of, just doing stuff. Someone
just hanging out doing shit.
Yeah, and just, if someone very close to me just sat me down, he's like, "Hey, man, what are you doing with your life, man? Have you thought about this? Have you considered these things?" And it kind of got a ball rolling in my brain, and it kind of snowballed into me getting really motivated to really take my life and make something out of myself. But it took someone being like, "Hey, maybe there's a better way of going about things, and we should be able to have those conversations instead of just being like, "Oh, that person's a terrible person because they're doing this and this."
Yeah.
But the key of what you said is you had a person who gave you that idea. So another important aspect is surround yourself
Definitely.
around people who could help promote you to be a better human being and give you those good ideas.
Yeah.
Or else you'll just be stagnant or go downhill.
If you're a thief and you want to stop being a thief,
Stop
you
hanging out.
have to stop hanging out with thieves.
Yeah.
If you don't, you will continue being a thief. It's that simple. And there's no way around it. It doesn't matter how close with their friends. It doesn't matter if it's your brother. It doesn't matter if it's your dad. It doesn't matter if it's your mom. If you need to stop a behavior and everyone around you is doing that behavior, you need to leave.
And I also think that you have to stop being around the people who see you as that and don't allow you to grow.
Exactly.
I see that a lot where people are there's some desire to be better, but a lot of the people who are there close to this is what you are, and you're just this terrible
Toxic.
person. and
It's
it's
toxic.
toxic. It's horrible.
You
Like,
see it a lot in relationships,
You do.
Yes.
especially on the college level.
You do all the
Yes.
time because there are so many relationships where guys or girls understand that they got the good end of that deal, and so they
They're
got to drag
sticking
that
on.
person down to keep them
Yeah.
with you. And hey, have I done that before? No, I'm better than everyone else.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep, yep.
No, of course I have. Of course I've been a terrible ass in relationships. I'm a dude. That's part of, that's part of, and we had a conversation about this earlier. I used to hate on dudes a lot for, not mistreating women. That's the wrong way to say it because of course that's terrible. But being, I guess what you could call like manipulative, being, to using emotion to control behavior and things like that. But I realized that anyone in the wrong situation can be a bad guy.
Yeah.
Any good man who has put himself or herself in a bad situation can become a bad person.
And you at the moment, you just rationalize it in a way where you don't feel like what you're doing is so bad. And then you look back on it and you think, wow, did I really do that?
Yeah, and you
Was
realize,
I really that person?
yeah, you look back and I was like, hey, I was one of those assholes that dragged a girl back, or I was one of those assholes who took advantage, of a girl because I could, and I didn't see it that way. And in that moment, I wanted, I had a lust, I had a drive, whatever it is. And then you look back on it and you're like, I am a piece of shit.
If you heard a girl tell you this story about another guy,
You'd want to kick his ass.
You would want to, exactly.
And so many times, I have so many friends who are girls, and they come, they tell me, and I'm like, I'll break his face off, I'll fucking kill him, I'll tear his dick off, and fucking sew it into a coat for you. I don't know why I said that.
Well,
So
that would prove a message.
That would put, yeah. But then, you think back and you realize I was one of those dudes, I was one of those dudes too. OB. Original Becca. OB.
Is that her name? OB.
OB. It's a joke because she's fat now.
And so.
It's like obese.
Oh,
I'm still an asshole.
See,
I'm
look
still
at
an
you.
asshole.
Oh.
You know what? I did have a thought yesterday, though.
What?
I realized how much some of the mistakes that I made with her could have affected her life.
Yeah.
And I feel a strong desire to go back and apologize and talk to her.
I did that recently, and I feel like it was a very good thing to do.
I think it's
Apologize for
something
being
you need to
a
do.
jerk to somebody. Yeah.
Um,
It helps you feel better, and they know that you did something wrong.
And that-
It alleviates the pressure. Of
It helps
what
them
happened
move
to
on, I think.
Exactly.
I really do believe it can help people move on.
Yeah.
The problem is, she really has gained a lot of weight since I saw her, and I know she's going to be like super self-conscious when she sees me. And I'm not trying to be rude. I know it's going to be hard for her because she was much skinnier when I was dating her, and I'm not like the most attractive guy in the world, but I got heavier for a while, but I've lost weight, and I guess it's rude to say we're not at the same level or anything, but I do worry about that a little bit because I know how much that can affect
Do you
a girl.
feel like you're the cause of her physical presence? Like what?
No, I mean yes and no. I know I contributed to it, but everyone makes their own decisions.
Yeah, that's a good. Point.
So I can't
You
hate
can't.
on
So
myself
you really
too
can't
much.
blame yourself. About
You can't blame yourself, but if there's something you can do to help someone and help yourself, you should do it. I mean, that's just the truth. If you can do something to help someone and help yourself, just do it. Don't think about it anymore. If something is positive, do it.
But inversely, if someone has wronged you, I mean, like, you have complete control. For example, I look back on some of my past relationships, and I am so grateful at how bad they were.
Sabrina.
No,
I'm sorry.
No,
not Sabrina. Not Sabrina.
Tiana.
Oh,
There you go.
Tatiana.
Tatiana.
That's Tiana.
That was the most poisonous, and I spent 2 years
Yes.
of my life stagnant.
Yes.
And all I did when I came out of that relationship is I learned no one is ever going to change my personality again. I am going to always be me, and if you like me when I am me, then we're going to have a great time.
I can't remember the person's name, but I talked to an elderly person, and they told me that don't worry so much about like the ups and downs you have as like a younger person, and I'm 26, and I, of course, like what I go through is very real to me. The ups and downs, relationships are very real to me. You feel all the emotions. It's intense. It's so much passion, so much fuel, so much intensity. And you know, it was a lady that I was talking to, and she told me, those are some of my best memories. She's like, those first times you experience all those passion, that emotion, those feelings, it is a beautiful moment to look back on, and you will always be grateful for those moments where you gain that strength, where you learn that, even if it was hard.
Not at the time, though.
Not at the time, though. I hate it. And hey, I've been, the past year, I've been trying to get over this girl that I fell in love with. But it's
years
been
down the road, you're gonna like.
It's been a shit show, and put me through a depression that I have never felt before, and was ashamed to talk about for a while. Because I was a youth counselor. I helped kids with depression. I was the anti-depression, and I never felt real depression. And there were, I really had days where I felt like, hey, it'd be better if I was dead today. And I honestly felt that way, and I didn't want to kill myself most of the time. There may have been times when I was like, hey, what sounds great? There was actually, there was a day where I clearly remember thinking, what sounds better than breakfast? A bullet. I'd rather eat I woke up and I was like, I'd like to eat a bullet for breakfast today.
Yeah.
And I didn't, of course. My head's still here. There's no holes, if you guys can see. Suicide's not a joke. It's sad. But
Hey, whoa, no.
it can be funny.
My philosophy is you have to make humor in everything.
You do. And there's nothing funnier than tons of tiny little Asian people jumping off bridges and buildings, because that's how they like to kill themselves. And no one kills themselves more than Japanese people do.
That was dark. Oh.
Oh, political correctness, fuck off. I'm not great at that. No, that's...
And that's why we love you, Brian.
Yes, there is, I can't remember if it's Japan or if it's... I think it's Japan. There's a forest.
Black
They
Forest.
have
No.
The suicide forest.
Yeah.
They have signs on the outside of the forest that say, don't kill yourself, your life is worth living, shit like that, because really it is a forest where people go and consistently kill themselves.
And because of that, they've deemed the forest possessed by evil spirits. From all
Which
the
I don't know
people
if it
that
is,
kill
but if
themselves.
there's any place that is, it's that goddamn forest. I want to go.
Speaking of forests,
So exercise that forest.
Let's go.
in Europe, we took a train ride by the what's called the Black Forest or the Dark Forest, which is the forest where all of the Grimm brothers fairy tales originated. Very ominous looking place.
Yeah.
Because those Grimm brothers, they wrote all of those cool stories that Disney later made, but they weren't like the way Disney had them.
That Disney
no.
later bastardized.
Like, for example, Cinderella.
Cinderella.
When the sisters are trying to put on the slipper and it doesn't fit, they chop off their toes to make it so they fit, or like they'll grind their heels.
Yeah, the girl cut off her heel.
Yeah. And then
Man,
at
that's
the
some
end,
intense thirst.
and then at the
The thirst is real.
Need that deep.
and at the end of the day, one of the birds that befriended Cinderella just peck out the eyes of one of the sisters just because.
Just because fuck you.
Exactly.
Should have been the stepmom.
Hansel and Gretel, they just wander onto a witch's house and then get eaten. Moral of the story, don't wander.
Don't wander into houses
Yeah,
of strangers.
exactly.
I mean, that
Like-
taught that lesson pretty well to Germany.
Right.
That wasn't Germany back then, was it? I don't know.
No, I think the Black Forest is it's in between Germany and France. I think it's in Germany, but it's right next to France or Paris. Or not Paris, France. You don't teach your kids that everything's going to be happy all the time and you're always going to get your Prince Charming. You teach them, don't fuck up, or you'll get fucked up. Like, that's...
You know what, I find that interesting. I didn't even, a lot of censorship is kind of big right now. Like, what's being censored, what's being not, why is it being censored, why are we censoring so much?
Mm-hmm.
But we've been censoring things for a long time.
Yeah, as far as I can remember.
We censored fairy tales
Yeah.
years ago.
Well, it reminds me of like kind of that era where there's it might still
The
be
censor
thing,
everything era?
censor everything era, but like the comics code where it's like you have certain cartoons where like you couldn't like punch people
Oh, come
and you couldn't have like real
Really?
guns. Like you ever notice certain cartoons like the hero would never like actually like punch people, like just kick them.
So just so everybody knows, a kick is 10 times more devastating than a punch. Like,
If you
this
know how to do
idea that like, no, if I kick you in the head, it hurts about 1,000 times more than me punching you in the head. How
For
is
example,
kicking...
the 90s Batman cartoons, you would never see him pull out a gun and shoot somebody. but he beat the crap out of people. Is that what?
Well, it's Batman. Of course he didn't.
No.
Oh no,
No,
he,
Batman
he has
is-
a kill count.
You still,
Okay.
you still see guns in Batman.
You do,
But
Just
like,
not
remember
everyone.
the '90s Spider-Man cartoon? Every gun was a laser gun.
Oh, like
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
like, how many
X-Men, yeah.
small time thugs get these laser weapons? Like,
Oh, that's a good point. They had stormtrooper guns.
all of them, because
When people got shot, they didn't bleed. It was just like, whoa, and there was like an explosion on their chest, and they fell down.
right? And they apparently, like, I didn't remember this at the time as a kid, but someone pointed this out to me on a podcast. Is that like they never showed Uncle Ben dying,
No.
and I don't know if they ever like actually said that he died. It was kind of implied that he was gone, and it was related to Spider-Man. And I mean, enough of us know the story that we filled in the blanks,
Mm-hmm.
but like they couldn't like have him like being shot.
Yeah, this idea of sheltering people, it's just a bad idea. Like, life is dangerous. Life is real. Like, even, it drives me nuts. Like, I love to go in the mountains. I love animals. I love, I love the outdoors. Everyone likes to live outdoors. Everyone likes to rock climb or whatever. They brag about it. But I really do. And it drives me nuts that people have this idea that we're not part of nature. Just because I'm in a house right now doesn't mean I'm not part of nature. If a bear wants to, he could walk down that fucking mountain up there, punch a hole in that door, and eat my asshole. By the way, bears like to eat asshole first. People don't know this. Animals love to eat assholes first. Consistently, humans get eaten by wolves and coyotes and bears, asshole first.
No way.
That's a real
You're
thing.
not
dude.
messing with-
I'm not messing with you. Consistently, animals like to eat humans. Like, not every single time, of course. Like, they kill other ways, but they eat us ass first. You ever seen it? I mean, I guess.
we got a lot of meat there. I guess it'd be juicy.
Well, and it's the most. That's where there's more smell than anything. That's
Is that
where
what
my
it is?
dick and balls is. That's where my taint is. That's where my.
I thought they, because I saw them, wolf packs, they jump on the hind legs of like buffalo or whatever. Not buffalo.
Well, I mean that's to
whatever.
disable them.
Exactly. I thought it was a disabling mechanism.
But no, like, they like to eat ass first.
Oh.
Animals eat ass. And so do I. Not these guys. No, but back to my original thing. It drives me nuts that people think we're not part of nature. Just because we live in cities.
One thing that's annoying is the curfew. You're not allowed to be out where we live. We're not allowed to be out into nature, the naturey areas, past 11 o'clock.
Yeah, fuck you. I'm going out when I want to. I'm a
Like, you
human.
can't make a curfew on something that's not.
Yours.
Yeah.
And this idea that the state of Utah owns like the mountains up there. What?
Right?
What?
It was the Indians. Like, they were not property. They lived there. They lived there.
The Indians didn't own it either.
No, they didn't own it, but they
Nobody
lived there,
owned it.
inhabited it. They inhabited it.
The land is for everyone. This idea that you can own land.
Well,
I mean,
that's a white guy idea.
Well, it is a white guy idea. And no offense, no offense to all other ideas, but where does everyone want to move? Where there's the most white people, because we consistently make pretty good areas. Like America,
That's okay. Yeah.
it's fantastic,
America's
right?
pretty damn good.
Europe, where's the
Well, Johannesburg was a pretty bad white. South Africa, remember South Africa? When
Oh, then they
whites
just
came in?
bailed and left it,
Yeah,
and then turned it into a shithole.
And they're like, we were never
Because-
there.
Because when we mess something up, we're just like, I'm just gonna leave, and I'm not gonna worry about that
So
anymore because I'm gonna go to my real home.
Established white community.
Established white communities. No, and there's lots of race wars right now, and I don't like to get in that too much. I think that there's it doesn't really matter what. Of course, it doesn't matter what how much whatever you have in your skin and whatnot. Anyone's smart. It has no difference. But there's this huge, and it's hard for me to speak on it because I am white. But there's this huge in America. There's this huge anti-white. We hate white people. We hate and it's weird. Like it's. We push so hard. We can't be racist. We can't be racist. We can't be racist. We've pushed so hard. Us, people pushed the whites to not be racist. That now it's okay to be racist against white people.
Yep, that's the
I think,
well.
I
That's
think I think that's the problem though. Is that like when you say when it's specific ways that you can't be racist.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, like when it's like this is offensive, but then you have people doing the same thing in other ways that are different from the way that everybody has said, and then all of a sudden it's okay.
Yeah,
It's like any like hatred or ill intent towards another person is bad.
Yes.
Like
Regardless.
Regardless.
any kind of prejudice or discrimination is bad, and just because someone on the TV or a teacher has not told you that that's bad doesn't make it not bad. Like I need to, and I think it really comes to like asking more of ourselves. You know, of like looking at it within myself and asking like, you know, when I look at that person, like what do I see, and do I have ill intent for ridiculous reasons towards that man and woman? And if I do, I'm wrong. Not and it shouldn't just be wrong just because it's towards a black person. But like if I'm hostile towards like a white person, it's still hostility towards my fellow man.
Yes, it should be
either way.
Wrong across the board.
It's wrong across the board. And so I think the problem is that we emphasize these specific ways in which you can't like be mean to people. But the reality is, if you're being mean to people anyway, and you know it, it's wrong.
You're wrong.
Like for example, like you know, like you look at like situations where, like for example, maybe like people might shun someone who's different than them, and it's like okay, like technically we're not like killing the dude or like beating him up, but like you still have like ill intent towards that person. Yeah. Like you're still doing something that can be considered harmful towards them in some way, and just because people haven't come out and said that like this is not against the law, or that this isn't like, you know, a big deal, doesn't mean that's not wrong to like have ill intent towards that person in that way. You know what I mean? And so it's a lot about like looking at people and trying to like examine yourself and get rid of that ill intent you have towards other people.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, get rid of those negative feelings. Like, because a lot of times, like, it's really just kind of like that fear of what's different, and the unwillingness to accept the goodness that's around us because it's different than ours. And when we really get to know those people, and when we open ourselves up to that different goodness, a lot of times it's incredible how it can edify us and make us better people, make us more understanding and kind and compassionate.
But how hard is it to explain that to a mass of people? It's easy when there's just three people discussing it. But telling someone at like
and that's
through social media, for example, it's just gonna bounce right off the head.
When we get in big groups, we have a tendency to think very simply.
Yeah.
And I mean it makes sense why it happens. You know, it's you get a whole bunch of animals together, it works the same way, and humans are just animals. Sadly, we are just animals with badass attributes.
No, attractive ass attributes.
Badass attributes. We're dope. This I was about to go on another tangent.
You love them tangents.
I am a tangent fiend. What can I say? I don't remember where I was even going with this. Don't be mean to people.
There you go.
Like it's really like okay. I remember where I was going. I was born in Maryland, and I moved around a lot as all growing up. And I'm very, very glad that I did because just across America, I saw lots of different cultures. Where I was born was a very dangerous, shitty area, and it's only gotten worse. I wouldn't go back to my hometown. There's no way I would go back to Edgewood in Baltimore, Maryland. No. I will. I want to go back, right? I want to drive by my old house quickly and snap a picture of it and never go back there again. It's terrifying. I'm a 6'5" large man. I don't know. It's terrifying there. But I'm glad that I've had the opportunity to live in different states. And I lived in Mexico for 2 years, I've been to different areas. I've seen different cultures, different people, eaten different foods, interacted with rednecks, with beaners, with other racial stereotypes I should not say because I will get shot. But I've interacted with just everything, and I've realized at a very young age that there are good people in every group, and there are bad people in every group. Because it doesn't, your circumstances, your whatever does not define you. It is your actions. It is who you are that defines you. It is how you think that defines you. And it's mind-blowing and frustrating that we can't just see people as people and not as how they look. And I know that everyone does that, and to a degree, our brains are built to stereotype because it's an easy way to organize information, and there's not a lot we can do about that. And it's not. We get a little extreme sometimes. I think people get really extreme with racism sometimes. If I notice that someone's a different color than me, it doesn't make me racist. It makes me observant.
Right.
Now, if I treat someone different because they're a different color, it makes me racist. But noticing it isn't a problem. You know, and if let's say I grew up my entire life in Utah, if I go to Baltimore, Maryland, am I going to be shocked at how many black people are there? Yes,
Most definitely.
because I've never seen that many. Not because I'm racist, not because I'm a bigot, simply because you have never seen that many. And that's
culture shock.
It's culture shock, and that's all it is. And people like to, culture shock's okay. New things shocking you, being different is okay. Being curious, asking questions is okay. But when we say, "Oh, you're being a racist," that's shutting down intellectual conversation. Just when people just throw these power words of racism and sexism and bigot and prejudice, it's just shutting down conversations, and that's the opposite of what we need to do. We need to talk. We need to converse like we do right now.
Exactly. Like the thing is, like you mentioned,
Contact.
we can't get
You're
away.
starting to cry? Feeling really
Emotional.
passionate?
Come here, guys. I need your help.
This wipes those tears away.
You're gonna cause static for your shirt and my hair.
It doesn't matter.
No, but here's the problem, right? We can't help but make approximations. That's how our brain works. We have to categorize things. We have to make approximations because we're not capable of comprehending every detail of the reality we live in. That's just how it is.
Well, and like we talked about last time, everyone lives in a different reality.
right?
Everyone's reality is you see it your way.
Right? And so the best thing we have to do is like acknowledge that our approximations are that. That they're approximations. You know? And when we can accept that and recognize our biases, then we can be able to understand like how they can like skew our view of things and compensate accordingly. You know? And by doing so and by conversing with each other and sharing with each other the good things, we can that's another huge way of overcoming bias. I can't tell you how many times I've had conversations where I've realized I'm like, like the way I see the world is kind of dumb. Like I'm kind of an idiot. Like,
I
it is good to have that.
I'm kind of an asshole.
Yeah,
That's kinda
it's
what
good
it
to
is.
do that.
And
I'm kind of a dick.
And you know what? I really enjoy that.
Yes.
I love talking to people who open my mind and help me realize like I'm being kind of a dick. Like I need to be better.
And if you're not that way, if you don't love being self-introspective, chances are you're a shitty person.
Right?
Chances are you're gonna achieve nothing. You're gonna do nothing good to help people, and you're gonna be a piece of shit. Like that's just what it is.
Right?
Sorry.
And I also think that's the case. Like people who like to have their minds open, who like to learn new things, who like to just open up.
Yeah, and
they tend to be better people over time, even if they start out crappy. But you have a lot of people who just like refuse.
It's crazy, especially because
Why?
they're very frustrating to talk to.
why do people refuse though?
Why?
Yeah. What is it? Because I've been that way where I was so strong set in an idea.
You've already said why. It's their perspective. The view of where their
Yes,
world is.
yes,
That's
yes,
how
yes.
it's supposed to be.
Why do they have that perspective? What were their, and of course it comes down to nature, and a lot of it probably comes from your parents. If your parents were shitty people, you're probably a shitty person. And I think, sorry to tell you, you are so similar to your parents, it'll scare the fuck out of you.
If you,
And that is, I think that's something for me as a man I've had to overcome. There's a lot of things my dad did that I do not approve of. The way he used his temper, the way he got upset, and he's a great man now, and every man mistakes, I don't hold it against him. But I had to be honest with myself, and I saw the same temper that my dad has in me. I saw the same tendencies. My dad, when he got upset, would throw things. Not at me, not at people, but he would throw things. When I get mad, I have a tendency to throw things. It scares the shit out of me. Because
I must have never gotten you mad.
No, you've seen me throw things. He throw things. He threw a water bottle at me trying to destroy me. The water bottle, remember?
I didn't throw that at you.
Oh, was that Matt?
Matt threw it at you and missed and nailed it.
No. Oh, that's right. He likes to say he missed. I expertly jumped over the flying water bottle. Neither of him or Matt will agree to that, but I jumped over that bitch.
No, it went beeline for my thigh and shattered all over.
You
my
were
thigh.
standing behind me. I jumped over it. It happened. I don't
Look how tall you are. You're 6'5". You weigh over 220
That means I
pounds.
can't jump?
Exactly.
Why does that mean I can't jump?
Physics.
I have very strong legs because I carry around this weight all the time. Thanks, babe.
Tell yourself that.
Oh, why you guys fill each other up over there? Yeah, that's precious.
Being gay is okay.
Love is love, dude.
Love is love.
Right?
But fuck that. Dicks are disgusting. Except for mine. It's the shit. I have a nickname for my dick.
It's Bruno.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No.
Did you change it?
No, it's never been Bruno.
You
That was
told
my
me.
name. That was my name. Alfonso.
Jeez.
Alfonso.
Oh.
Alfonso. Because
Oh.
he's Latin as fuck, dude. He dances and shit. You know, he fucking, like, he knows how to treat a woman right.
Oh,
He,
wow.
Is that
he's
his name?
got that
With Latin people?
passion. No, really, honestly, I learned, which maybe sounds terrible, but I learned how to be romantic from Latinos. Like when I am romantic with girls and stuff, I learned that from Mexicans because I honestly believe that the way that the Latin American cultures treat women is much better than the American culture we have. There's a different level of respect for them. And you know, just like in America, they have very clear different roles. You know, we like to push against that. Everyone likes to push against. Oh, men and women are the same. Sorry, we're not. We look different for a reason. It's simple. Like, I'm sorry. It's fucking biology. I learned it a long time ago. It's not
equal.
controversial. It's facts. It's truth. Get over it.
It's equal in opportunity, but unequal in the physical traits.
Definitely. They should have the exact same opportunity. Anybody does. Everyone should be that way.
However,
That's
to
fine.
say
No one
that
disagrees
we're
with that.
the same and equal is just
Idiotic.
is retarded.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure I can't have a baby.
Yeah, I can't birth a baby, and I'm pretty sure there's no woman on this earth that can kick my ass. Sorry, Ronda Rousey. Sorry, I outweigh you by twice.
You know, when this gets popular, that she's gonna show up.
Good,
And
good. I want, like, it's not that I don't recognize she's a fantastic fighter and so skilled, except for when she got her ass rocked by Holy Holmes.
Well, I will
Oh, that was
openly
beautiful.
admit that she could probably beat the crap out of me pretty easily.
But this is the thing.
With
People
one hand.
don't like. They
And
literally.
one eye closed.
They were saying that she could beat. Not Muhammad Ali. Sorry, but what's the other
Floyd
boxer?
Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. And Floyd Mayweather actually said, they had a little spat.
The hell is bad? He's not. He can't fight her. What is he gonna do? Hit her? No, of course not. There's a drastic difference, and people just need to understand that. We see it in animals. We see it in everything. You know, why can't we just put that truth onto ourselves? Like.
Because the truth hurts, and it's my perspective bias
Yes,
that won't
the
allow
truth
it to.
does hurt. Get the fuck over it. It's truth. It's not going to change for you and your
Exactly.
opinion and your emotions.
does it have to hurt though? Because I think it's an attitude that causes the truth to hurt or not. Because like I mentioned earlier, like I rejoice when like I discover something that like I'm like, you know what, I was wrong, but now it can be right. Like now like all these possibilities are open to me because I stopped thinking like an idiot.
I think the truth only hurts when you refuse to accept that it is truth. When you hear something and it's truth and you accept it, you love it. But when you hear something and you know it's truth and you reject it, the only emotion that is left is anger. The only emotion that you can actively, push at that point, because there's no happiness there, there's no joy there, there's not really sadness there, because you're not sad that you don't know the truth. You're mad that someone told you something was true and offended you. So the only reaction you have is anger. And that's why it comes out that way.
Especially for you.
What can I say? I have, I do have tendencies to I do get in disagreements a lot, and I do have tendencies to, even when I know I'm wrong, I'll continue arguing, because I have this addiction to be right and to win an argument. But when I sit back, I will, I am really good at being introspective, not always in the moment, but after, and I'll go back and I'll think about it, and I'm like, fuck, I was wrong. And sometimes I'll call those people up and be like, yeah, I was wrong. Most of the time I don't. Oh, okay, my contract is freaking out. This is ridiculous.
Do you need some like solution or something?
No, it's fine.
Because I have some.
After.
All right.
After. You can just come in my eye. How about that?
I don't know if that would help.
I don't think it would. Might get a little more irritated, but damn, I'd get excited. Just this eye, though, if you could be that accurate, please. Kind of like the Pokemon, just circle it.
Yeah,
just hold.
Hold.
Hold, brothers! That was weird.
Like the Pokemon, we've gone full circle.
Right. The Pokemon.
Round and round we go. You know what we need to do? We still haven't thought about a name.
About what?
A name?
We're going to have to name this podcast at one point.
Switchboard.
Switchboard, that was what we called it. So long ago, we can think about that later, though. We got any current events?
We've been talking
about current events.
This
Let's
whole
talk
thing
about
was
I mean,
current
Pokemon
events.
Go is like probably
Pokemon is the current event.
is the current event.
You know what else is the current event? Hillary Clinton's going to be the president of the United States of America.
Oh my heavens.
Guys, she is. And I know lots of people are like, oh no, we hate Trump. I hate Trump too. He's a liar. He's manipulative. He's not great.
He's a
but
politician.
He is a politician, but he's a what is it, a reality TV star. That's what that motherfucker is. He's a reality TV star. And surprise, he's not worth $1 billion. He's not a billionaire.
Here's my thing. I had this conversation with someone the other day, and there are differing opinions, but like, am I the one who feels like maybe like people like the problem I have with politics is that like the kind of people who want to get into politics, the kind of people who want that kind of like power and influence aren't the people I want running my country.
No. Anyone that wants to run the country has no business running the country.
Mm-hmm.
The man or woman who should run the country feels and knows they should do it, but hates the idea of it.
To. Exactly.
They despise the idea of
That's
it.
the thing. Like, I feel like the best leaders aren't people who crave that position.
Yeah.
No, I learned this once coming back to my father. My dad always, harped on me, you got to be a leader. You got to learn to be a leader. You got to learn to be a leader. I do believe it's important. I think we need as many leaders as possible. But my dad always wanted to be a leader, and that's why he wanted to teach me to be a leader. And because he always wanted it so bad, he never really got it. In church or in work or in other things, he very early on he had really, really great success, but he never, if he ever heard this, he might get upset. But he never really achieved becoming the leader that he really wanted to become, and I honestly believe it's because he wanted it so bad. And I know that I have been a leader in different roles in my life, and I know you have, and in ways you have too. I think everyone has been a leader in some way in their life, and I think it's important, but it's not something. It's okay to recognize you're good at it, but you gotta do. I think the most important attribute of a leader is humility. Because you have to be honest with yourself, and if you're good at something, recognize you're good at it, but don't get cocky about it. I can be a really good leader in certain aspects, but if I get cocky about it, I fail immediately.
And that's
Is there
why,
a politician out there right now that's cocky?
Yes.
Well,
Donald Trump.
Huh.
I'm owning it. Don't get mad at me. I'm not running for president.
But anyway, so here's where the
I'm
discussion went.
26. I got work to do still.
So here's where the discussion went, and you kind of segued into this, right? But humility is that like the kind of the discussion I had with this person. I was like, well, I feel like maybe like statisticians, scientists, like mathematicians, like engineers, like people who like whose work requires them to be humble and to do research and to acknowledge the truth. Like, I've been reading this great book about like scientific discovery in physics over like the past couple of centuries. And how like someone will go to like a renowned, the great mind who discovered like incredible things in the realm of physics and be like, I feel like you overlooked some variables here, and like maybe we should reassess these calculations. And the person will be like, well, that sucks, but okay, like let's look into this, because that's how that works. Like that's how your mind has to work in that field.
It has to.
Like when you do the math and you find out it doesn't compute with what you think, you have to adjust. When the data changes and the information changes, you have to change your mind.
That's the scientific method, is trying to prove something wrong.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Right.
And that's
and that ability to kind of ask those questions of yourself and of the way you think about the world is something that is completely lacking in politics. In fact, if you change your mind in politics, they make fun of you.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You should develop new ideas. You should be like, when they get mad at flip-flopping. Flip-flopping's very, if you're going one or the other and jumping back and forth, that's different. But your ideas should be changing and advancing and progressing.
Well,
All
you understand
politicians
the reason
should be
why
talking.
people get mad at them for that is because of everything we've talked about. The people they're talking to are so polarized that they don't see that they can have a difference in opinion.
Yes.
They need to cater to the one thing that all their followers want.
Because
them to
that's how they
think.
get votes.
Exactly. And that's really what it
Fox.
is.
And that's the problem with the system.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
That's
whole
the
problem
main
with the system.
problem.
And that's the issue I have with it. But so the debate continued as I discussed this, my whole thing, and maybe you have to be careful about this
Don't be careful, just say it.
But one person,
I'm half white and half black. Part of me is going to be offended with what you're about to say.
one person they piped in. They were like, well, whoever runs the company whoever runs the country has to be a God-fearing person. And I was like,
I'm a God-fearing person. I totally disagree with that.
and I was
though?
like,
why though? Like, what's the reason? Why?
there's-
Because
there's-
God-fearing people don't ever do anything stupid. Is that?
Well, that was
that
my
the-
whole argument. Is that I was like, how many people throughout history, in the name,
Let's go ahead and talk about this.
of being God fearing, and in the name of like some kind of religion or some belief that they have screwed over a lot of people. Like, even if you believe that your religion or your version of God is right, and that He will bless the country for living a certain way, you can't sell that to people.
No, and you have no business trying to.
It's
Right?
Ugh.
Because I mean, this is why, like, our forefathers came over here, fled from Europe to come here to establish this country, religious freedom. Because how many years in Europe did the ruler change from like Protestant to Catholic, and in doing so, ordered tons of people to be killed for like opposing that view.
Yeah.
Like the world has seen way too much of people being. The problem with the world isn't that there are people like twirling their mustaches like, what evil thing will I do today? The problem with the world is that there's a cacophony of people screaming at each other that my God is better than yours.
And it's not even just religious people. Like, it's not even, we talk about gods and religion, but it's anyone who is too obsessed over one idea, one ideology, that becomes your God.
And atheists can say that they don't have any God, but they are so fervent in their belief
About not having a God, that they have a God that is not a God.
Exactly.
It's just
That is
adorable.
the
It's
entity.
adorable. It's adorable. I find it wildly entertaining to talk to atheists. And I have, the utmost respect. I work as an analyst now. Most of them are atheists.
Most analysts are.
Most of them disagree with me wildly, and I get into great conversations with them.
As long as you can keep them logical and emotionless and fun, I mean, you can make them great conversations.
I never keep conversations emotionless. That's my biggest strength. Just kidding.
That's my big strength. Were you about to say strength?
Yes.
No.
It's terrible. That's how you manipulate people, is with emotional arguments. It works, but it's terrible.
Because then you make them snap and you're like, oh, I'm sorry. You
And
can't
then you
talk to me
make them
anymore.
like I
And
did
then it makes
that.
them,
I
like,
kind of did that today at work. My roommate. I left like something out, and someone was coming over, and I don't remember what it was. It was like dishes or something, and someone was coming over to drop off some dogs. He was watching dogs, and they were worried that like the front of the house was dirty. So my roommate sends me a text. You left a cup out, and it was left this out. It was raging text, wildly upset over
Wait,
some
for
bullshit
leaving
for
something?
leaving some stuff out. It looked dirty, and I was it was funny. And I could have gotten mad and been like, well, you left. No, but instead, I didn't take the high road. No, this isn't a story of me taking the road. I took the manipulative road.
You're going to look back and think, oh, I was an asshole.
Yes, I already did, but it was also funny. Because he was being an asshole. So this is what I do. I love being manipulative, right?
Yes, you
But
do.
I cannot feel good about doing it unless someone's being mean to me. So when you're mean to me, I'm going to manipulate you and make you feel stupid. And so he texted me, and I didn't answer the text because a long time ago I told him, and I said this on purpose, just in case we ever have this. I can use this, which is terrible, but I have that kind of memory.
Man, you're just like,
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, I know, that whole is exactly right.
Bad, man, bad. So I didn't text him back, and he comes, and we work together. So I'm at work, and he walks in, and he was like, "So did you get my text?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got your text." That's all I said. Yeah, I got your text. And he was like, "And?" I was like, "And what? Like I told you, like if you want to talk to me, come talk to me right here. Like what's your problem? What do you need to talk about?" And he was like, "Well, you do this and this," and I was like, "You know what? Oh, you want to talk about what happened at home? Let's not talk about that right now. We're at work. I don't want to cause a scene at work in front of all these people." And I said it in a very, like, "Hey, we're not going to do this right now. You need to control yourself because you're being ridiculous tone."
Oh, man. So you got him all angry.
So he was already angry, and then he came in. I made him look stupid in front of people at work, because I'm an asshole.
Sounds about right.
And I could, I knew, but like, he approached me that way. So we, I come home later, and now I've changed how I'm doing it, because now I've been an asshole. Now I have to be overly accepting responsibility and nice, so I still stay on top. because that's how you win. And so I walked in, and he's looking at me. The first thing I said is like, "Hey, sorry about earlier, man. Like I must have left something out there. I went out and I said it on purpose. I was like, I walked outside to water the lawn, and I must have just set it down without looking. So what did I do there? Well, what I did was, look, I watered the lawn. I'm doing something for you. Mm-hmm. I'm helping us out, so you can't be mad at me.
All right.
And because of helping you out, I forgot something that made you frustrated. And so, at the end it was, oh, it's not a big deal. It's whatever. And I don't know why I was telling this story because I'm not a manipulative asshole, but
Well, I mean, from the start you kind of are.
I kind of am a manipulative asshole. I made him look stupid in front of people. Why? Because why did I really do it? He's been frustrating me because we've been doing little things because of roommates, and you have a little bullshit back and forth like that.
Yeah.
When in reality, the situation could have been resolved by me saying, "Oh, sorry, I left it out, bro." And it's, I mean, now I feel like an asshole.
You should.
But isn't that the problem? Because I have that urge a lot to just do that one thing that I know will make somebody angry.
I didn't, I don't do it necessarily to make him angry. This is terrible. I don't do it just to make him angry. I do it to get off. I I really do. Having that, being able to control someone's attitude, and for just a second,
that's your father talking, my friend.
It gets me off, and I have to be and I agree, and I have to be. My dad, no, not really my dad. My dad's shitty at this. I learned this to manipulate my dad and make him upset. I started doing things like that.
So it had to do with your dad.
To attack him.
This sounded like
of course, it's daddy issues. Well, it's not daddy issues, and this is it's very, very small. And I know the friend well, but it's funny how much effort I spend on just making someone frustrated, and how much I think about it. And someone at work told me like, "Oh, you're just getting too much into it." It's a waste of time. It's a waste of effort. And what should I have done in the beginning? I'm sorry, dude. But in myself and get off doing it. Because, I don't know, I was having a shitty morning or something. I don't know. But how many times, I think that's important, and how many times do people do something to someone else just because they're having a bad day? How many times does someone shut someone down just because they have road rage in traffic? How many times does someone scream at their employee because, they had an argument with their wife last night? That shit happens all the time.
Or the other way around.
Or
their boss did something stupid to them, and so they take it out on their wife.
And so they take it out on their wife. And it's funny just to see, we're children.
Yeah.
Especially me.
That was mine. I was supposed to say that. I was supposed to get that humility onto me. Come on, you stole it from me. That was my card, man. And now I'm sitting here looking like an asshole. You stealing it from me.
And now you know that I know how you tick.
Yes, he does. I've known this man for years. He knows how I tick. I've known this man for years too. I'm sitting next to the worst people in the world to talk about an introspective negative story about me, because they're just going to call me out. He'll call me out, and he'll just look at me disapprovingly and make me feel guilty.
Oh, that's almost worse, though.
He's so good at it, too. I don't know if you know. I don't know if you realize it, but you have the best, not disapproving look, but I wish you wouldn't have done that look. Because it only hurt you look. It's the look that God is going to stare into my eyes with when I see him one day. That's why I'm glad this guy's in my life. I'm getting worked up to it. I'm getting used to it. I'm getting ready.
Dude, it's like, I'm not... What was it? How was your? It was like the mom, if your mother was like, "I'm not going to tell you not to do that, but I will be disappointed if you do," and that's almost worse than just saying no.
I remember the first time that my dad, "I'm disappointed in you, son." Ooh. And you know what? This is my thing. I am so radically, I have to be different. I can't do the same. So I've always saw that when people saw that, that impacted them and that hurt them. Mm-hmm. And so when my dad was like, "I'm disappointed in you," fuck you. That was my response. That was my response. Because I learned at
he
young
trolled
age
you.
That, no, I trolled my dad.
Oh.
I learned that if I didn't give a fuck, it drove him nuts. Because all he wanted from me was to be strong, was to work hard, was to care, was to be successful. And if I didn't care, and if I didn't give a fuck, and if I just said no to everything he said yes to, I won. And that's how I lived my childhood for such a long time.
You sound like the worst kid.
I was the best kid. My mom loves me. My dad loves me too. And I have great conversations with them, and I have great relationship with them now.
That's well. Actually, have you noticed my relationship with my mother has gotten so strong?
I think so. Oh, for
now
sure.
that I've left.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Leave when you can leave.
It was at the point.
Move
where
out when you can move out.
It was.
Right?
It was either I'm moving out or I'm getting kicked out.
Yeah.
And
See,
our
my
relationship's
problem
never
is-
been better.
My problem is my mom would let me stay with her for the rest of her life.
I
have one of those moms.
Freaking angel.
Yes,
man.
she is. But I could take advantage of my mother.
You could.
I really could, and I unfortunately have in the past.
I have.
You
With
know?
your food.
Well, she
I've
loves
eaten
doing
her
that.
food.
She loves doing that. My mom loves feeding people. Because she's the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason I'm even a decent person is because of my mom.
You're not decent, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Fuck you. Why are you my friend if I'm not a decent person? Fuck you.
So I can always look at
Feel
you
better?
and be like, well, at least my friend Brian is blah blah blah.
Good job, asshole. Ben's the best out of all of us. That's what we decided today. Through,
Well, he definitely has the best muscles per body pound. Because I'm a shrimp, clearly. You're, but I mean, he's cut.
he is cut.
He's pretty damn cut. And isn't that
Hey,
really all
take
that
your shirt off.
matters? Ooh.
You know, if they want to see me with my shirt off, they can follow me on Instagram.
He doesn't have his shirt. Yeah, it's true. He looks beast.
Do
He
you
looks
seriously
beast.
do
I was,
straight
no, I was on a date. And this girl, and I am, I mean, maybe everyone's weird when they date, but I talk about things you probably shouldn't talk about. One of my first questions is, what kind of guys do you normally like to date? Or what's like, I'll ask that, or what's like the sexiest kind of guy for you? Knowing that the answer probably won't be, a 6'5" Gumby motherfucker with some hair and wearing a hoodie. Like, it's probably not going to be me. And so the girl, that's not true. Being tall is fantastic. I'm not going to lie. It brings me up from like a 6 to a 9 with some girls. It's fantastic. I don't even have to try to look good. Just being tall is great. But she was like, she's like, I really just like black ripped dudes. She's like, I just like black ripped dudes. And I just laughed. And I was like, hey, you own it. You own it, whatever. And so what did I do? I pulled out my phone and I pulled up a picture of this guy with his shirt off climbing rocks, like 4 different pictures. And just started showing them off to her on a first date.
This is a first
The
date.
first date, I'm going out with this girl, and I'm showing her pictures of my gorgeous black friend. And she has a fetish for black dudes. What the fuck was I thinking?
I have a question.
And you know what the best thing is? I didn't call her back.
Oh, there you go.
She tried to talk to me, and I was done.
Was this
love
a Tinder acquaintance?
Tinder bitch?
Yeah.
It was in the Tinder bitch time.
I
yes.
knew it. I knew it.
Tinder, dude.
I don't Tinder right now.
I had to get off of Tinder.
Dude, listen, this
It's a
is
slippery slope.
This is
man.
the problem with Tinder. I believe in being a chivalrous man. I believe in being a good man. I believe in taking care of women. When I look at Tinder and I scroll through women, only thing I can think of is, oh, you're hot enough that I'd come in your face. I'll swipe right. And that's how dark my head goes. And now, if you knew, how I date girls, and if you knew how I treated girls when I'm dating them, you would not expect that from me. You would expect that from me if you were my friend and knew the jokes I told. But you wouldn't. I love to be caring. I grew up with sisters. I love to be romantic. I love it. But Tinder takes me to a very
Primal.
place where it's, are you hot enough that I can shoot white ropes of glory onto your face? Yes, barely enough? Okay, swipe right.
And that's
disgusting. I shouldn't be that way.
So do you
So I shouldn't be on Tinder. I should not use it.
so do you feel like Tinder
Brings me down?
contributes to the objectification of people?
One
Well,
billion
obviously, I
%.
mean, because you're literally
yes.
saying would bang, would bang, would not bang, would
Yeah.
bang, would
Yeah,
bang.
yeah,
would
yeah,
bang.
yeah. That's all I did.
I mean-
That's all I did. And realistically, that's all you did when you used Tinder.
You didn't go, well, she
You didn't
doesn't
say-
look great, but maybe she has a good personality.
No one did that. No one did that.
No.
To the 4 girls that did that. I'm sorry.
Wait, actually, I've never used the Tinder app. Is there any description option? Or
Yeah,
is it
yeah,
purely-
no,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah,
description.
yeah.
I'll admit, I've been turned to swiping on girls, and there's something funny in their profile. And I'm like, she's
Yes,
attractive
you've been
enough.
turned to swiping right, not asking him on a date.
That's true.
Not
I didn't necessarily go on a date with those
No.
girls. That's not necessarily
you do it to make yourself feel good. I've literally swiped right on girls before just to make myself feel like a better person. That's why I can't use that shit. It turns me into I know myself, and I just shouldn't use that. I'm not a bad person because I did that. What I
You're a
should
bad
do-
person for many other reasons, but not that one.
Yes.
Not that one.
Because instead of saying, "Oh yeah, I'm objectifying women using Tinder," I should continue. No, I don't want to objectify women, so I'm gonna stop doing that. Awesome.
It's probably a good thing. Because I'll be honest, the Tinder thing is a slippery slope.
It's just bad.
Like, you
Don't date that way. Just don't. Go meet people. Go do things.
here's the problem, right? Like,
Play Pokemon Go.
there are girls that actually want to, like, date and pursue a serious relationship on Tinder. But there are, like, a whole lot of girls that are just, like, it is a hookup app. And you can only expose yourself to that many women, to those kinds of girls so much before that becomes a problem. Like, that's a hard, like, the gravity of that
Yeah.
is hard to
Yeah.
resist.
Well, see,
When
most
you
people-
have girls that just want to do things.
Most people would just be like,
And
"Why
the
aren't you
easiest-
just doing them?" They don't there's a religious aspect to why we don't do things.
But even my friends who have, like, done a lot of things, like, they reach a point where they're just like,
Oh, it gets tiring.
I gotta pull myself out of this.
No, it
Because
does.
I'm gonna be stuck in the cycle
Yes.
forever.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of that for me is, like, not just religious reasons, but, like, talking to people like that.
No,
and
have-
recognizing, like, oh crap, if I get sucked in, I'm gonna spend years, like, of my life
No. I
in
spent
his situation.
2 years hounding for pussy. And that's all I did. I woke up in the morning. How do I get pussy tonight? Who do I talk? And I'd hit up girls.
And you know
on
he
phones.
wouldn't hang out with during those 2 years?
My closest friends, probably.
Yeah.
And it really consumed my life. It consumed, and I have a disgustingly addictive personality. God, I sound like a terrible person when I talk on these things.
Kind of, but that's okay.
But at least I'm saying it, right? I have a really addictive personality, and so that's all. Like, it just consumed me. Sex consumed me.
Yeah, see, and that's what I was afraid of, and that's why I got off Tinder, because I'm like, it only takes one bad night, the wrong girl, and, like, I'm sucked into that cycle.
And
like,
it is. It's a shit storm. And you know what's funny? That's not the best kind of sex.
right?
One night stand.
One night stands are never the best kind of sex. 2 night stands, are, having sex with with the same girl twice is not even the best. It's after you've done it 10 times. That's when it's the best. You know what each other like. No.
You're getting really passionate about this.
But it's true.
No, I agree.
I know you agree with me. I'm saying this so I have someone who will support me. Fuck you. You're getting passionate about trying to make me look stupid, you asshole. You fucking asshole.
Yeah, I can take
He's
that.
doing it on purpose. I know.
I know how to make you tick.
Yes, and I'm calling you out for making me tick in a rude way,
But which makes you seem like more
which
of an
makes me
asshole, so
seem
I
like
still
more
win.
of an asshole. But
I still
people
win.
understand what you're doing now.
Yeah. But so I've never used the Tinder app for that exact very reason, because I knew it would be a vicious cycle that I didn't want to get into.
It's not a cycle that you want to be. It's not good for your brain.
No. And it's interesting because, like, people advertise that lifestyle like that's like...
Like it's a shit. Like sleeping with. Like they add this idea. Like most people have the idea that single people get laid the most, or that like.
I can guarantee to you that's not.
No, or like, oh yeah, when it's like they just became boyfriend and girlfriend, they just moved in together. That's when they have the most sex. No, the people that have the most sex are married. Sorry,
The whole
like that's how it is.
there's this myth where it's like if you get married and you put a penny in a jar for the first year every time you have sex, you'll never empty the jar if you take it out.
Bullshit.
After that year, you'll never empty that.
I'll empty that jar in 6 months.
It's that's definitely not the case.
No, it's not. This.
However, I'm saying this where I've been married for over a year without a kid. I'm sure once a kid gets involved, it can cause a lot of kinks.
Well, and yeah, kinks, but sex also has to change when you get married.
Quickies become a beautiful thing, I hear. I've never had a kid, but
Quickies are awesome.
Yes.
We have 15 minutes before we have to leave. Okay.
all right, we can fuck.
Yeah. So.
But I do feel like the people who do get caught up in the lifestyle, they reach a point where they do crave that genuine sexual interaction.
Yes.
And then they realize, I'm like, man, like this kind of
It
sucks,
feels shallow, man.
right?
It just does. It feels shallow.
And it's so cool to me to talk to people like that and realize that, like, you know what, like all this stuff they're advertising,
It's bullshit.
it is, it's BS. And I don't have to feel bad for like not falling into that side, because some people, like, you know, they see a guy that takes care of himself and is like decent looking, they're like I don't know, you could be living that lifestyle, man. And I'm like, I talked to the guys that did. That sucks.
But here's the thing. Honestly, like, if I was a girl, like, with Tinder, I wouldn't want... Guys don't look that good to just... Like, guys, their most redeeming quality are their personalities.
Yes.
So, like, I would
when we
hate
make
to
you
use-
laugh, it's when we
Exactly.
make you
Like,
smile.
I don't
it's when
know.
we make you
If I'm looking
like.
at this guy, is he going to make me laugh? I
You don't know.
So why would I swipe right? Like, screw this guy. Screw that guy. You know, I mean, like, oh, I don't know why so many women use it. I know I wouldn't.
Oh, I think there's more dudes that use it for sure.
Really? Okay, I guess that makes sense.
And I mean, I went on a bunch of dates with Tinder chicks, and I call them Tinder bitches. That's terrible.
Tinder bitches?
Yeah, that's how I refer to them as Tinder bitches. Cause I'm an asshole. No, not because I'm an asshole. Because that's really how I saw them. It's really how I saw them because of the app that I was using. Because that's what I was doing, so I had to separate myself from it. I understand. Yeah.
What at least you can realize that you started objectifying in such a brutal way.
Well, and, I mean, anyone can objectify. I'm sorry. Any man can objectify. Women seem to be worse at it than we are. That's a compliment. I'm just talking shit now.
Jesus, it's been going on for an hour and a half.
Yeah, we're rolling up on like an hour and a half here.
You have to do some heavy editing.
Fuck editing. Never edit. Never, seriously, no. People want to hear this bullshit conversation. Well, they want to hear it. I don't know if people want to hear it. We're not even sending it
When
to
you
them
edit,
yet.
you cut it into different videos.
No.
You cut the best sections in the videos.
Why are we arguing about this?
Because you
On
admitted that
this.
you like to argue.
What is happening right now?
You admitted you like to argue.
God,
That's what you
I do.
This got so meta because we're talking about the video that we're in.
It's Vinception.
Inception. Vinception.
Inception.
Good night, guys.
Yeah, we should probably wrap this up.
It's only, what, 2 in the morning by now?
At least.
Final send off. Say something.
This was a fun first podcast for me. I enjoyed it. They're very insightful, and I learned that you're a little bit of an asshole, but a lovable asshole, just like me.
I've never claimed to be anything else. Even to the kids at the treatment center. I always told them I'm a nice asshole. So there you go. Brian, the nice asshole. I always got your back.
Fair
Even if
enough.
I'm inside it. All right, Ben. Give us something.
You know, at the end of the day, we're just guys trying to do our best, you know?
I guess that is the point.
That's all you can ask of anyone. And as soon as you realize that about yourself, about other people, I think it's easy to be kinder. You know, you got all these people with like this messiah complex, like they're right. When the world sees things their way, things will be better. No, because they're all the other assholes who like blowing people up and killing people think the same thing. So
And they're not going to agree.
right,
Ever.
exactly. So you know, just we're all just people trying to do our best. That's all you can ask of any of us, you know, and then to share that with others and to educate one another on how to better do that, you know, I think that's what's important.
Except Tesla drivers. They suck.
We're all going to be driving Teslas in 10 years. It's going to happen. Don't get offended. It's dumb.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, exactly.
Just don't.
Don't get offended.
Stupid. It's a waste of your time.
I think we all agree on that.
All right. Everybody, suck my dick.